Hello again. Today I'm looking at Tyler Childers, and he was born in 1991. An American singer-songwriter. He's a neo-traditional country, bluegrass, and folk musician. He's from Paintsville, Kentucky, son of a coal miner. Loretta Lynn was also from the Paintsville area. And if you haven't seen Coal Miner's Daughter, you should probably go check that out. It's one of the best movies about music I've ever seen, starring Sissy Spacek. Bottles and Bibles of, back to Tyler Childers that is, was his first album in 2011. This was when he was only 19. The next album was Purgatory, made with the help of a backing band called the Food Stamps. Purgatory was successful in 2017. It debuted at number 1 on the Heatseekers charts. In 2018, Tyler won Emerging Artist of the Year. Childers had been critical of the term Americana as a genre. He saw American music as the purgatory of American country music. So Americana didn't really differentiate between American country music. His performance at the 62nd Grammy Awards in 2020, when Childers released his Long Violent History, an album of fiddle music. Part of the theme is police brutality and racism, showing his desire for his music to be effective as protest, something we haven't really seen much of since the early 60s. And that's 60 years later. Feeling old? The profits from the album were donated to support underserved communities in Appalachia. When he's not protesting, he writes and sings about coal mining and its effects. He also tries to disavow stereotypes of backwardness and poverty. Read that hillbillies. Hillbillies are not backward, and they're not always poor. The Food Stamps consist of Craig Berletic on bass, Chase Lewis on keyboards, Rod Elkins on drums, James Barker on pedal steel, and Jesse Wells on guitar and fiddle. Now, I believe that Tyler Childers, in his protests about different areas from that section of the country, probably has something to do with coal mining. But, that's become a very political hotbed issue, because back in the 2016 election, Hillary ran about shutting down the coal industry, for environmental purposes. And it's true that coal leaves a carbon footprint, but it's not definitely true that all scientists concur that temperatures are going up as a result of a carbon footprint. It's politically expedient to say so, but when Trump ran, all the coal miners voted for him because they thought it was more important to have food on the table than it was for, the pollution factor. What we need to do is figure out a way to mine coal and use it as cheaply and cleanly as possible. And the coal industry has been making many strides to do that, if you don't believe me. Look at Pittsburgh back in around 1910. You never saw a blue sky in that town.
You take the long way around it if you don't remember anything else.
And the thing about global warming is, it's going to get cold, it's going to get hot, it's going to get cold, it's going to get hot.
But I did deliveries with
Good old Mother Earth has a way of cleansing itself if the mankind factor gets too out of hand. She's a big old baby, and she can roll over on just about any occupants that she has and start all brand new. Think lava. It's not just hurricanes, you know. The earth is a powerful item. We should not take her for granted. But we don't need to shut down all of our industries because politicians say that we're causing global warming. Because it's not definite that man has anything to do with it whatsoever. It might be a natural cycle. No, I'm not a scientist, and yes, I do care about this issue. But to say that scientists are in agreement that man is causing global warming and that in 20 more years Miami's going to be underwater, I think that is irresponsible. Because when Al Gore came out with his unfortunate truth around the turn of the century, he said that that was going to happen by 2030. And that a lot of other things were going to happen by 2020, like, for instance, the polar bears would all be gone because they wouldn't have any place to live. None of that happened, Al Gore. Go back to an unfortunate truth and check it out. Tell me it's not political. When Al Gore loses a presidential election and decides to get back at everybody by saying, you know, we're causing global warming. Well, I've pontificated enough about this. I know that I'll probably receive some unlikely comments about it, but please feel free to do so. I'm open to a dialogue about this topic. It's important to me, and it's important to you.